What's up, everyone? It's Alex Ragir, co-founder of Storyhunter. I'm here at the Cannes Lion Festival of Creativity. This is one of the biggest events for the advertising industry, and I'm going to speak with Barri Rafferty. She's the first woman to lead a top 5 global PR firm as the CEO of Ketchum. Really excited to learn about her journey. The first woman CEO of a top 5 PR agency. How does that feel?
Feels good. It's been a great 18 months. I've had a chance to really put my stamp on Ketchum, and we've rebranded ourselves as a communications consultancy, and I'm happy to be here today because we're working on all kinds of new forms of content, digital influencers, and trying to keep up with the changing environment.
Yeah, and it's changing so fast. Here at Cannes, everyone's talking sort of about that convergence, right? With agencies and PR companies kind of competing now, along with media companies, consultancies are all sort of looking for the same business. How do you see that change happening?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Whoever comes up with the best creative is the lead agency here at Cannes, and you see that everywhere. You also see this combination, I think, today of what I call the left brain, right brain, right? A lot more tech companies, analytics. And I think what we're learning is that you need the creative side, but being informed by really coming up with better data on the audience and what they care about. It helps you to create creative that is more authentic and engaging. So I think what you're seeing at Cannes is really a little bit of that version now, right, of seeing both types of companies and trying to figure out how to make a merge.
What's kind of the PR pitch for why you guys would be the best positioned in this shift to kind of digital and digital stories about brands?
Yeah. Well, public relations, right, has always been that storyteller. I mean, when I started, it was the written form, and we were all about great writing. And I think now it's the combination, right, of great copywriting and great visual storytelling. And you've got to combine the two. So our talent is a little bit different than we used to just have all newspaper writers. Now we have television producers and animators and other types of people. And I think that, though, the authenticity of where we come from in public relations really suits us well.
What have you seen the past 18 months in the digital video? Like, what are some interesting things you've learned or trends that you've seen?
Yeah. I think the rules are going away. You know, there was a time where everyone wants short and, you know, has the attention span of a goldfish. Now I think you see it's a little bit of everything, right? Sometimes a long form is great and it's right for that story. Sometimes it's, you know, a quick 15-second taster. Sometimes it just really depends on the format. So to me right now, the rules are a little bit thrown away. And I think what we're really trying to understand is, you know, if you're trying to reach, you know, my kids are, you know, in that young kind of 20-something and you're trying to reach that type of person, then you're going to create content that's really differentiated and something that they want.
One thing in PR, you don't really think of PR as the authentic stories, you know, when you think of the stereotype of it.
Yeah, but I think that's changed tremendously, right? I mean, just like, you know, I would argue the opposite. I think the ad agencies have often done the commercials in the 30-second brand spot. We've always looked for, you know, what's the science behind a product or the insight behind why an entrepreneur created it, or what are the stories that make up the end user and outcome. So I think we've always looked for
an editorial type.
Right. We're always pitching the news. So if you're going to do the editorial, it has to be the news behind it. So now visually we're trying to bring that to life in different ways. And I think too, you know, you're seeing a huge amount of purpose, right? Sustainability, other topics, and visual storytelling and bringing those things to life on actually what companies, brands are doing to help the end user, to make things, more environmentally friendly, all those kind of stories just lend themselves to public relations. A lot of times brands are looking for what we call hero content, right? What's that one thing that's just going to break through? And what we often talk to clients about is, they need a content strategy that is continuous, right? And some of those are going to be big breakouts. Some of them might be really local and relevant. And sometimes I think those are the best because when they connect with an audience that really cares about the topic, they tend to share and engage them more. Sometimes, you're at the Super Bowl and you hit that right nugget and it takes off. But to us, what we work with clients with is to make sure they have that cadence and different types of content going to their core audience. And some of our brands really have a very specific audience, and some have a very diverse audience and need to change it up and use different channels and different types of content to reach those different diverse audiences.
People always talk about brands becoming media companies.
Yeah.
Is that happening? Is that going to happen? Was that not true?
I think a lot of the big companies are trying to become media companies in some ways, right? They have a lot of their own channels, but they're also tapping more influencers to do content, right? Because there's more. So I think you have to be careful of that mix, right? People don't want to necessarily always hear from brands. To me, when our clients add a newsroom, it's actually good business for us. I wouldn't have said that 2 years ago. But once they create demand in their organizations, they never have enough content people in-house, so it bubbles up. But I also think we're seeing that increase in people, working with both earned and paid influencers to push work through their channels in ways because it resonates differently. And so if you don't have that hybrid mix of in-house agency, influencers, different types of producers and people, I think it's hard to have a full content spectrum that's going to be engaging. It's hard to make it look so different.
Yeah, and that's moving forward, looking the next 18 months. What do you think we'll see more of?
I think you're seeing, technology. I've been waiting to see if VR and 4D, other things have that tipping point, but I think you're going to continue to see more immersive content as the technology gets better and more accessible. I think that the rules are gone. I think you're going to start to see more long form. We went a little bit to short form, and now what I'm seeing is some of the long form content is really engaging if it's on the right topic with the right emotional connection.
Creating that themselves. With the help of agencies or
with the help of agencies.
Companies.
I saw some great content here, right, from Anheuser-Busch with Dwayne, and they surprised him, and it was set up, but it was genuine to him, right? They had people from his life trading his shirts, and it was truly genuine, and you kind of felt moved. I don't know if you've seen it, right? Longer form, right? So I think that the key is, what is the story? Is that story going to resonate, right? Does it have some emotional connection to you or I, or something that's truly interesting and innovative that we want to learn more about? So I think that's where it starts, is if I understand my audience and I know what type of information they're seeking, how I give it to them in a form that's going to be engaging to them could be anything today. As you're seeing in Cannes, I think stories can come from all types of agencies. As a communications consultancy with talent around the world, we're trying to be better and better at storytelling, at content, at video, at the written word, at all of the above. And there's a lot more business out there, I think, to be had as everyone goes to more engaging content. But the key now is there's too much. And so you got to figure out how to target, how to make sure it resonates, and how to get people to tune in. Because I think part of our challenge in the next 18 months is going to be that culling. And people are starting to say, how do I cut down? Because I'm spending too much time on social, right? There's a little bit of that social backlash. And so, I don't know about you, I get you spent X hours a week, and it's like, oh gosh.
That's a lot of hours.
That's a lot of hours. So I think we're going to start to look more for curators too, as, who curates that content, and that's going to be, I think, an interesting path moving forward.